What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Hey. Welcome into episode 206, everybody. I am your host, Sleazeball. Today's episode is going to be my top 8 year 2 breakout players for the rookie from last season. Now, I'm going to talk about one of them very quick, but I'm also not going to put players on here like J.J. McCarthy. I think it's his rookie season coming out. And I'm going to talk about, at the very end of the video, the list of players that didn't make this list that I think that are a year or two away. So if you guys have any questions, anything, period, fantasy football, drop it in the comments. Always here to answer everything that does not pertain to this video. Before we dive into it, guys, as always, if you're listening, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, I can't thank you guys enough. It's been absolutely amazing. Make sure you smash that like and subscribe. But the support you guys have shown has been absolutely amazing. And let's dive in to my top 8 bounce back players for fantasy football for 2025. So starting off with Drake May, and every single player, I'm going to go to their 2024 stats and then give you my breakdowns and thoughts of why I think they're going to bounce back this season. So last year, 2-9 as a starter, not a lot of help in New England, man. They threw him to the wolves. 2,276 passing yards. The rushing upside is immaculate. 421 yards. He went absolutely nuclear at North Carolina with the rushing yards as well. 15 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. You like to see those come down, but it's kind of hard when you don't have wide receivers to throw to. 2 rushing TDs, finished his QB 23, 13.4 points per game, 187.1 total points on the season. Production premium was positive 4.5. That's what you like to see, is positive premium production. Completion percentage 71.3, not bad there. Passer rating 87.5, not bad there either. QBR 59, which actually, if you look at like true QBRs, that is not a bad QBR as well. Deep ball attempts 33 with finish number 28. Now, when I'm doing the breakdown here for Drake May, he got to sit back. He got to come in week 6, learn a little bit as a rookie in the system. But he put up 4 games of 20-plus points last season, which is tied with Patrick Mahomes. Think about that for a second, right? So what they're going to have to do in New England here, they bring in Stephon Diggs. The first domino has fallen. There's still a couple free agents they can move for. They could possibly get Travis Hunter in the draft. But with their 2 corners, they have probably the best duo tandem in the league right now. I would probably trade that back, and let's look for the offensive line. That is the biggest weakness they have here, is the offensive line. And they could also possibly bring in a Tyler Lockett or a Keenan Allen, or, try and go for a wide receiver late in the 3rd or the 4th. Or there's, also quote-unquote rumors for Brandon Ayuk being traded. I mean, if you give this guy some weapons, I promise you he is going to skyrocket, and he's one of my favorite targets in drafts right now, trying to acquire in Dynasty, everything. Moving on along to number 2 here, there's going to be Michael Penix Jr., the Washington phenom that got his chance to start late last season. Went 1-2 as a starter, 775 pass yards, 11 rushing yards. Not great there, but that number's going to come up. 3 passing TDs, 3 interceptions, 1 rushing TD to go along with it. Finished as quarterback 5, but again, we're looking at a very small sample size. 9.4 points per game, 47.1 total points on the season. Production premium -6. Of course, didn't play long enough, the 2 losses he had, there was some ugly games. He's getting his groove together in the system and learning everything going as it goes. Completion percentage 64.2. You'd like to see that come up. Passer rating 87, not bad. QBR 49.6 in his 3 games. That's more bottom of the tier, but again, it's a small sample size, nothing to look at there. But this is what you have to look at. 3 games, 19 deep ball attempts, which ranked 40th. I mean, you average it out, this guy's going to be airing it out like crazy. But I'm going to get to that in a second here. So, Michael Penix Jr. had to sit behind Kirk Cousins, popped into the season around week 16, played the Giants, played Washington, played Carolina, and every single game he went 7 to 12 to 26 points going up in every single game. And then what you have to look at is the Drake London targets, the Kyle Pitts targets, the air utilization went up by 70 a game. This man is going to air it out in this offense. Kirk Cousins was a statue of himself last year. Not to throw any shade at Kirk Cousins. He's coming off an Achilles and he was old. Look at Aaron Rodgers coming off the Achilles and he was old. It wasn't much there, but the weapons he has is going to be massive. The offensive line he has is going to be top 5. You have Bijan, you have Algier, you have Mooney, you have Drake London, you have Kyle Pitts. Michael Penix Jr. value right now is one of the best I'm targeting in best ball drafts, and definitely trying to acquire him in Dynasty because the breakout is here. Number 3, and this one I told you is going to be quick, Marvin Harrison Jr. I will look over his stats. He finished as wide receiver 30, 885 yards, 62 receptions, 116 targets, 8 touchdowns to go along with it because the big body frame. Rushing yards, you expect him to get a couple end arounds here this season. I don't know why I didn't have any attempts or anything. 11.6 points per game, 197 points on the season. Production premium was -6. That is the only time in the history you are ever going to see in the rest of his career where his production premium is -6. They could not get on the same page with Kyler Murray. Snap share was 79.5%, 40th there. Target share 22.2. I expect both of those to go up. Routes ran was 526. I expect that to be in the 550 top 10 range. Route participation, you love to see the 92% there. That's 19th. This man is it's crazy that he's on the second year breakout because of his ADP last year was so high. This man is a top 5 wide receiver talent. It is going to come to fruition. And if you can buy low on this guy right now, you should go smash it right now. Number 4, and this is one of my favorite ones. It is going to be Rome Odunze. So there couldn't have been a better offseason for this guy, but we're going to look at his 2024 first. So 734 receiving yards, 54 receptions, 101 targets. You got to like that, playing the third fiddle, possibly the fourth fiddle, sometimes behind Cole Kmet. 3 touchdowns, rushing yards. You like to see him get a couple end arounds. You like that for fantasy. 15 yards. Wide receiver rank was 49 inside the top 50. Points per game was 8.5, 144 points on the season. Production premium was negative, just like Marvin Harrison Jr. This is the last time you're going to see these guys in negative production premium. Now, these are the numbers that are just enamoring with what's going to come next. Snap share 84.5%. That's amazing for a third wheel wide receiver last year. That ranked 23rd. Target share 19.2, almost a 20% target share in a field with everybody out there last year. Routes ran 552. That's top 13. Route participation was 87.2%, which ranks 32nd. Now, when you're looking at those numbers, those are all behind DJ Moore, behind Keenan Allen. Sometimes Cole Kmet saw value, sometimes or a ton of targets. Sometimes DeAndre Swift saw targets. Now you have who's out of town? Keenan Allen is out of town. That's 121 vacated targets. Now, what happened in the offseason? They smashed the offensive line in one day. Take it from bottom rank of the NFL to possibly top 10. Maybe some people could argue top 5. What do they do for the golden ticket? They bring in Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator, the coach that everyone wanted. It is going to be a lights out year for Chicago Bears, and the fans have to just be going absolutely nuts because it could not have been a better offseason, and it is the best offseason for Rome Odunze, and he is going to explode this year. Number 5 is going to be Xavier Legette, wide receiver, the Carolina Panthers. And we're going to look at his 2024 stats here, but I want you to remember the Rome Odunze stats I gave you in the third tier bottom here. So 497 receiving yards, 49 receptions, 84 targets, 4 receiving TDs. His rushing yards are going to go up. He's got a little Debo-esque style play to him. He's going to see more end arounds. You know, his first season in Canales system, first time head coach there. It's going to be better this year. Now, rushing TD is 0, obviously. Wide receiver rank 61, points per game 7.8, 125 points on the season. Production premium -10.8, which is very bad. I don't expect him to be in the positive this year because it's very hard to get into the positive production premium, but it's going to be better than -10.8. Snap share 71%, okay? Target share 17%. Routes ran 407. So when I'm saying compare it to Rome Odunze, who had DJ Moore and Keenan Allen out there, you had Adam Thielen and pretty much Xavier Legette. And he only ran 407 routes. That is a massive difference right there that I'm telling you. Route participation was 73.7%. But why do I like him for a breakout this year? Well, not only the roller coaster, you had Bryce Young get benched, Andy Dalton come in, then Bryce Young magically learned from, I guess, Andy Dalton, you could say, and became way better down the stretch. So the roller coaster ride of quarterbacks was there. Adam Thielen is heading into age 35. You have Jalen Coker on the other side. He's flashed a couple signs of possible breakout for him as well, too. But I'm going to go with Xavier Legette. Having 4 games of 9+ targets last season, he's shown that he can be a focal point of the offense. I expect that number to double into, like, I'm going to say 8 to 10 games of 9+ targets for him this season. And he's going to be utilized in the screen game, like when I talked about Debo here. So, you know, you watch Debo over his career, the short screen passing game, the yak, that is what Xavier Legette is, and that is how he's going to be potent in this offense this year, and I love him as a second-year breakout player. Number 6 is going to be Keon Coleman, who came into the NFL at 20 years old last season. His stats were a little skewed because he went down with injury, but we'll get to all that. So 556 receiving yards, 29 receptions, 57 targets, low numbers there. 4 receiving TDs, rushing yards 9. You like to see a couple end arounds here and there. Wide receiver rank was 71, points per game was 8.6, total points on the season 115. Production premium was still positive. So when you're looking at Marvin Harrison Jr., Romo Dunze, they had negative positive production premium, and Keon Coleman had positive. That is how you can tell where he's going to be in the next step. Snap share 74.9%. You'd like to see that come up a little bit, be in the 80s. Target share 15.5. You need at least 20% minimum there. I think that's going to happen this season. Routes ran 308. So when you're looking at Romo Dunze, he ran 550, right? So big difference there. He's going to be more involved this season. Route participation was still 77%. You like to see that in the 85-90 range, which it will be this season. Now, why I like Keon Coleman for a breakout, let alone that he was a project that they drafted out of Florida State. And there was a lot of red flags and question marks, and then he came out and showed that he could play in the NFL. 6'4" size. He has the red zone threat body down there. You got Dalton Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid kind of had a shell of himself year last year. Mac Hollins got more touchdowns. He was out. He's out of town now. You got Khalil Shakir-Stein that's going to man the slot. Yes, Josh Allen's going to run. Yes, James Cook is going to get his touchdowns. But Keon Coleman is going to elevate this year because last year you saw right here, like week 7, 8, and 9, he was starting to hit his stride. 17 points, 18 points, 7 targets, touchdown. And then he gets the hand injury. And if you watch any of his interviews, he's quoted on the interviews, literally quote for quote, I was just getting going and then I had an injury. I haven't had this happen in my career. So adversity strikes. He's going to bounce back. He came back later in the season, about week 15, but never really got his snap share back up till the end. So you're going to have him now as possibly second option here this season in a Josh Allen-led offense. Go get Keon Coleman if you can. The breakout is coming. Number 7 is going to be Ricky Pearsall, Slick Rick of my San Francisco 49ers. Last year got the show late here. 400 yards, 31 receptions, 46 targets, 3 receiving TDs, 45 rushing yards. Got to love the end around just like he did at Florida. Wide receiver rank was 82. Points per game was 8.5. Total points 93.5. Production premium plus 7.1. Marvin Harrison Jr. was -6. Romo Dunze -10. Look at the production premium Ricky Pearsall brings. That is absolutely insane. Snap share 50.7%. Obviously, all the weapons the 49ers had. Target share 14.6. Same thing there. Routes ran 206. Route participation 55%. All of this is going to go up. Debo traded to the Commanders. Ayuk coming off of ACL. We don't know if Ayuk's going to stay with the Niners or be traded. I hated that contract last year. I said that multiple times. Was not worth to pay the piper there. Now, all these weapons are out of town. You might get a George Kittle extension. We don't know what's going to happen with CMC yet either. And this man was shot straight through the chest and came back and played football in the same season. Let's get another year in him, and we're going to see what happens here. And look at this stat right here. So week 17 and 18, when the Niners were hampered by so many injuries, he averaged 23 points a game in the last 2 weeks of the season. It was wide receiver 6 overall in that time. You have seen what this man can do. It is time for the 49ers to unleash him. He runs so smooth out there. I love watching this guy play. Obviously, 49er bias. Look behind me. But, man, go get Slick Rick if you can right now in Dynasty. And it's a player I'm looking to target late in drafts for sure this season. Last but not least, number 8, another product of the Dave Canales system and the Panthers' up and down roller coaster ride last season. So let's, I already talked about the Panthers here, so let's switch it up a little bit different on the Panthers side here. So when Dave Canales came in, I loved Jatavion Sanders out of Texas, but Dave Canales was offensive coordinator for Tampa Bay last year. And when I looked at Cade Otton's usage, he was the most used tight end. Routes ran, snap share, everything, but he had 0 production. So that kind of worried me about Jatavion Sanders. But let's dive into 2024 stats, and then I'll break down the rest of that why. 342 receiving yards, 33 receptions, 43 targets, 1 touchdown, 0 rushing yards. Didn't get any end arounds. He was 21 years old. He should have got a couple, carries here and there. Tight end rank 36, 4.6 points per game, 73.2 total points. Production premium was -5. That's going to come up. Snap share 54.6%, target share 9%. All these numbers are coming up. Route ran 285, route participation 53.4. Now, why I brought up the Dave Canales and how I was afraid of the tight end, right? So what happened is, you had the first 5 weeks of the season, or exactly the first 5 weeks of the season, he had 10 fantasy points. And I was like, here we go. Here comes the Dave Canales. We don't use our tight end system. He was playing 29, 35, 50, 73, 75% of the snaps. Then week 6 hits, and from week 6 to 10, he goes for an average of 10 points a game over that span, putting him as a top 10 tight end in that span, right? Then, just like Keon Coleman comes down with an injury that derails his season, and he tries to come back and play through it again, and he gets hurt again, right? So 22 years old heading into the season. Now you have a little more tutelage in the system. You have a little more connection with Bryce Young. And like I said, Xavier Legette I like for a breakout, and I like Jatavion Sanders for a breakout. This is going to be a team that's probably playing from behind most of the games this season again, which is going to be heavy pass attack. And Dave Canales is a mastermind. So I'm enamored with these two Panther players, and I'd love to go get Jatavion Sanders for really, really cheap right now in Dynasty, and someone I'm looking at late in redraft. Thanks for rocking with me today, guys. That is the end of the episode, but I told you at the end I would give you my list of players for year 2 that aren't my breakout player that I feel are a year or two away, and one player that I really, really, really am trying to acquire everywhere in Dynasty right now. So for that list, it is going to be Audric Estime, Jalen Polk, JJ McCarthy. I'm calling it his rookie year. Trey Benson, Blake Corum. Man, if you watch my videos or subscribed to me last year, I never liked that running back class, and they're all handcuffs. This is the class this year. Benson, not his time yet. Zach Ertz still there. Jermaine Burton, Marshawn Lloyd, Troy Franklin, Roman Wilson, Theo Johnson, Javon Baker. I missed on that one. Jalen Wright, Ray Davis, Braylon Allen, Luke McCaffrey. Now, if I had to pick one wide receiver that I'm trying to acquire, remember, I told you, end of the video, I'm going to give you my special guy. Adonai Mitchell is one that is just superstar to my eyes looking talent. He's just behind Michael Pittman. He's behind Josh Downs, and very, very easy to acquire in Dynasty right now. I would go make a trade for him if I can. Now, thank you guys for watching. We're going to be launching our Patreon here come Monday, which is going to be full access to me and my co-host, Big Draft Energy. His link is in the video as well. Make sure you subscribe to my guy. I'm working on giving my running back rankings. I know I said it the video before. I'm trying to perfect it to absolute magic for this rookie class because it is an unbelievable class. And that is it for me, guys. Make sure you smash that like and subscribe. All the support has been amazing. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Sleazebomb out.